Yo, what's going on, man? It's Blitz. Today I have the 5-out 2-guard build that we've been using on Total Lockdown Mentality to enter leagues, climb the ProAM leaderboards, and just overall take over the ProAM scene. This build can shoot, dunk, dribble, and play pretty great defense. It can kind of do it all, man. Before we get started, I gotta let y'all know we are in the middle of the AXN League regular season. I will be posting the exciting regular season games and all playoff games or playoff series, win or loss, on this channel. However, I do stream every game we ever play on the Twitch. The link will be down in the description, so you can see those games in real time. Come hang out, say what's up. Watch us travel the journey of trying to become as good as we can possibly be. Watch us take the L's, watch us take the wins. It's a good time over there. Also, the links to my Twitter and TikTok are also down below. Mainly the Twitter. Please go follow me over there. I'm trying to get those medias kicked off as well. If you like the content you see here, please leave a like and subscribe, and go ahead and hit the bell so you know the second I drop a new video. Alright, that's enough housekeeping. Let's head to the builder. So some of y'all are familiar with my template of how my build videos go. I'm going to break this down in a similar but unorthodox way than I have in the past. And the reason for that is the pick and roll team, everything is so fixed, and there's a clear and obvious meta for each specific role and position. However, in a 5-out team, everything is so fluid, man. It's just kind of all over the place depending on what you have. I think what the big man does is still very obvious, but everything else 1 through 4 is dependent on what your role is and what type of build you have around you. So it makes it tough to say you absolutely have to have this or do that. So usually in these build videos, I give the viewer warning, I kind of skim over the build formula I created, and then I put a lot of attention on the must-have attributes and maybe a little less attention on the role of the player. Well, with the fluidity of these 5-out positions, that is going to be a little bit flipped in how much attention and how much emphasis I'm putting on these things. I'm probably going to put a little more emphasis on the role of the player rather than the must-have attributes, because that's more liable to change, but you got to understand what role you're playing with this build first, and then that will adjust where your attributes are, which is kind of why the build formula is numbered 1 through 3, right? But that's kind of going to be our approach to this. It's a little bit different with this 5-out lineup. Real quick, this is a very last second addition to the video. I'm telling y'all, like, seriously, I'm in the currently right now sitting at my desk. I'm in the closing parts of this video, but I felt like I had to include this. I feel like I would be doing a disservice to y'all with this build if I didn't at least address the 2K23 war between 6.8 and 6.9 builds. It's been a very hot issue for this whole game's life cycle, and it will continue to be. My super quick thoughts on it are, I think you can truly make an argument either way. I will say the badge tiers for 6.9s are clearly and far and away better than the 6.8s. However, on a 6.9, you can't get Hall of Fame quick first step. This build today is 6.8. Now, my opinion can change, or I can be convinced of something different at any time. But right now, I think if you're trying to make a guard, I would lean towards 6.8 for that Hall of Fame quick first step. And if you are playing any other position on the floor and you're choosing between 6.8 and 6.9, I would say 6.9 is better between the two heights. If that is something y'all think is worth a whole video, let me know, but that's my super simplistic analysis on that for right now. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into the viewer warning. Most of you are familiar with this, but this is a warning to you to make sure you understand what this build is made for. It's not designated for the park, it's not designated for the randoms rec. This build is specifically engineered for ProAM 5v5 and designed to fit into a unique role on a full team. It's not made for any other purpose but that. Now, however, this is going to excite some of y'all. If some of y'all ask me, can this build go into the rec randoms? Can this build go to the park? Can this go to the ante up? And I will say, this build right here, I would say, out of all the builds that I put out there, the stretch big is one of them too, but I think you could have some success walking into the rec with randoms with this build. I think this build is well equipped to deal with some of the randomness that rec randoms bring, and some of the clogged paint, some of the bad defense. This build can do a lot of different stuff, and that's what you got to have in builds that you don't know what you're going to get out of your teammates. It's not a structured environment. You got to be able to do a little or a lot of everything, so that way you can fit into kind of any singular role. You got to be able to stretch the floor, you got to be able to drive the basketball, you got to be able to play defense. and you got to be able to pass. So this build can do that. So I would say if you're looking for a build for rec randoms, this is really not a bad one to have. This is a pretty good option. Up next is the build creation formula. This is something I designed to simplify the process of creating a new build while also helping you not accidentally mess it up. I use this process for every build I ever make, and it is incredibly helpful to me, and I'm sure it will be to some of you. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. The build creation formula: number 1, understanding what role I am playing. Number 2, identify what specific attribute caps, animation thresholds, and specific badges are non-negotiable or must-haves on this build. And 3, then you focus on adding some creativity or maximizing badge counts. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first part of the build formula. What role am I playing? This is very, very important. For this build, you need to be a very effective secondary ball handler. In a 5-out set, you're going to be sitting on the hash. You're going to receive the ball a lot, and you're going to need to ISO from the hash, or if you want, call for a pick and roll from one of the bigger players on your team. You have to be an efficient hash shooter. I can't stress this enough. In Comp ProAM, you cannot miss shots. You absolutely can't miss shots, and it's incredible game-breaking thing to have a hash shooter that can just green from deep hash with that 92-93 3 ball. It is so tough to get out there on rotation sometimes. So being an efficient hash shooter is very, very important in this build. You're going to have the finishing ability. It is going to be 5-out, so it's going to be a little easier, but you're going to run into teams that just have their rotations down to a T. You've got to be able to have a build, and you've got part of your role is got to be finishing at the rim through your ISOs, through your pick and rolls, through your pick and pops. You've got to be able to do that. And the last point is you've got to be an effective secondary on-ball lock. To be the spot you're at, you're going to be the secondary ball handler. You're also going to be the secondary lock. You're going to be a 6'8", 86 perimeter defense. We'll go over that in a second, but you're going to be able to guard their off guard, and you got to be able to at least slow down the main PG with this build. You got to be a good secondary on-ball lock. Now we are going to straight rim run through the attributes here. 86 driving dunk gets you pro contacts off 1, silver posterizer, gold limitless takeoff, all great stuff. You're going to have that 92 3-point shot for gold limitless range. At least a 75 pass accuracy for the LeBron package, or use whatever other package you have available. I suggest LeBron. 89 ball handle on these 6'8s get you that Hall of Fame quick first step. 86 perimeter defense for silver clamps, gold challenger. I'm not so sure with the badge counts you can actually run silver clamps, but we all know that with the different core patterns and the different additional badges, you can kind of make anything work in this game by the end of the build. But regardless, it gives you the option, and the main point is you're going to have that 86 perimeter defense for better jump shot contest. You're going to have that gold challenger, which is incredible against great scoring guards. 78 steal for silver interceptor. And 75 vertical unlocks all the dunk animations that we have on this build. All right, now we are going to make our way to the attribute screen. You see here in the vitals, yada, yada, yada. We made it a point guard. Nothing else really matters. Moving on, we're going to make this guy at 6'8", 180 pounds, 6'11 wingspan, and use whatever body shape you like. Go in here. All right, now, I have done nothing to this so far except what we just listed on the must-have attributes. Many of you understand that when you put certain things up, it also raises other attributes. But like I said, I promise I've done nothing extra but what you saw on that last screen. And this is the structure of the build. Now we can kind of move into step 3, which is adding creativity or maximizing badge points, which is what we always do. But let's go ahead and go down the list. I'm going to move close shot up to 67. That's going to give us 3 badge points. I'll expand the badges so you can see it by category. Driving layup, we're going to move this up to 82. That's going to give us 2 badge points, I believe. And it's also going to give us Hall of Fame Giant Slayer, which is insanely OP. And Ja Morant layup package, which the Jordan actually loves the Ja Morant layup package. And I think it is a very good layup package. So feel free, if y'all want to unlock that, go for 82. If you don't really want it, you can probably just knock it down to 80. But anyway, that's the little insight into the 82 driving layup. On standing dunk, we're going to go 69 standing dunk. That's going to give us 3 badge points. All right, moving on to the mid-range. We're going to move the mid-range up to 79 for 1 more badge point. Pass accuracy, we're going to move it up to 78 for 1 more badge point. Speed with ball, we're going to move it up to 77 for 5 badge points. Interior defense, we're going to move interior defense up to 61. Not that far because that's ridiculous. Move the strength back down. Not bad. I messed up. Up to 61. And 74 defensive rebound for 4 badge points. I'm going to go ahead and put the speed to 80. And the acceleration as high as we can possibly get it. Acceleration heavily affects how fast you're moving with the basketball. So we definitely need that on as high as possible. Stamina, we're going to go ahead and go 90 on this. And you can kind of put the rest wherever you like. I guess you could throw it on stamina or free throw. Let's go free throw. Yeah, that's good. All right, so this is the final badge count. 17 finishing, 24 shooting, 22 playmaking, and 14 defensive. I've said this before. We're going to look at the takeovers here for a second, but don't overcomplicate this, man. Double limitless range on these guard builds is just insane. I highly suggest you go double limitless range. To me, the only other option that makes a lot of sense, or that I would think you should do, is maybe put your secondary takeover on easy blow-bys so that every dunk you're getting gives you a little bit more takeover, and it's maybe a little bit easier for you to get dunks than it is threes in Comp ProAM. So possibly having easy blow-bys in that secondary takeover so that way you can get to your primary takeover quicker and more often. Maybe that makes sense. But for me, man, I'm using double. I would use double limitless range on this for the 2 takeovers. Now I'm going to kind of give you some options of what badges you can run on this build. Again, I've said this many times, but this is kind of the hardest part of me for the build videos because, again, there's so many different numbers of badges that people can have on this stuff due to double core badge pattern. You get the +4 badge points at the beginning of the micro store. Basically everyone has that, but then I think there's like +4 now just getting level 39 every single season and getting that extra badge points. So it's just hard to tell, but I'm going to make the assumption when I do this is going to be, I assume you have all the regular core, like no, not all, just the regular core pattern with 1 core per category. And I'm going to assume you have the +4 badge points at the beginning of the My Career story. Now, keep in mind, we have more in our build, so it's just hard to tell you exactly what we're doing without showing you. But I'm just going to make the assumption that you have the +4 and the regular core patterns. So for finishing, we're going to run Hall of Fame Giant Slayer. It's absolutely OP. I'd probably run a little bit something like this. Bronze Aerial Wizard, Silver Fearless Finisher, Silver Slithery, Gold Limitless Takeoff. You can make the argument between Posterizer and Slithery. It's kind of up to you. Eye of the beholder. Figure it out. Whichever one y'all want to do. I'd probably go Slithery. Onto the shooting. We got Hall of Fame Claymore, Gold Agent 3, Silver Green Machine, Gold Catch and Shoot, Gold Limitless Range. Again, Jordan runs double shooting core, and he has additional badge points added to this. I mean, you see the +4 up there at the top of the shooting tier. He runs gold, all 3 of these down here. So what I would do, if you didn't have all that, I would probably run a little something like this. So you see the +4 badge points available at the top. I would say you should add 1 to this category, so that way you can at least get your bronze Deadeye. If this is all you have available to you. Moving on to the playmaking, I'd probably run something a little bit like this. Gold Hyperdrive, Bronze Special Delivery, Hall of Fame Quick First Step is a must. You got the Clamp Breaker on Gold Cord. You got the Gold Unpluckable. Bronze Handles for Days just kind of help you out there. You can do that or Killer Combos, whichever one you prefer. Now for this build to work at all, you've got to at least add 3 badge points to defense, and here's why. So you see I've used everything I can on tier 1 and 2 to get to that, that 10 badge point threshold, so that way you can unlock tier 3. And I've got 4 badge points left, so you're gonna have to add 3 to get to 7, so that way you can core Gold Challenger, and then you have even more to play with. You have 7 more badge points to play with. Then you can throw it on clamps, you can throw it on, a rebound taster, you can even max out your workhorse. There's a ton of different things you can do. So those are my ideas as far as the badge points that you would do, just given the circumstances of regular +4 badge points and the regular core patterns. Alright, that will go ahead and do it for the build. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoy the Pro-Am matchups or the build videos, or maybe you decide to make this one, leave a like and subscribe, and go ahead and hit the bell so you know the second I drop a new video. Alright, that's all I got, guys. Y'all have a great one. I'll catch you in the next one. Blitz out.
Come on, kid. Get up.